Okay. Greetings. We have most of everything working. Okay, background music, blah, 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 blah. Sick. We're here to party. Let's go. Georgia Plane Spotting. Hello, good evening. I believe Tom messaged me and said that he had something come up today. So here's a good chance he may not make it. But that's okay. See, I can hear that. We're good. Already got this set up. And hopefully you didn't see the surprise. Aha, the surprise. We have the Taugs Hanger Hughes 500C. Belinda, greetings. So yeah, new helicopter day. Well, I got it a couple days ago. Because you're the #1 fan. Currently, apparently. Don't know how that works. Literally zero clue. Also, I learned I did like an experimental flight with this the other day. You can open the other stuff up, but for some reason with a model you can't close it. So you can't like look around and everything without having to like restart the thing. Let's see, we can go backward a little bit, this way a little bit. Cool. So, yeah. Let's see, we have battery, utility power, start pump, collision lights, battery on. Start pump on. Anti-collision lights on. See, I got throttle all the way down. Governor's off at the moment. Turn that on. That's pushed in. We're good to go. Click and hold the start button. It's making sounds. Blade starting to move. Introduce a wee bit of throttle. We're going to continue holding until we're up to like 50, 60 or something like that. That's on. Pitot heater on. That's in green. Torque is good. All that stuff's good. Easy enough. Cool, so we are in. .500C. Robert Harrison, what's going on? Hope you're doing good, dude. Okay, and we are heading to the west, which we can use this for navigation, but also we can put our iPad up. Let's go, new helicopter day, guys. Fix my headset real quick, feels a bit weird. Little bit to the right. The door is right there, and we can get rid of the lollipops there too. Okay, let's do it. That's good, that's good. Blade's returning to the left, so we'll need left pedal picking up. 50% torque, I like that. We also don't have a big load, it's just me and fuel, and all of you guys, but yeah, I very lightly played around with this the other day once I got it, just kind of like make sure it worked and all of my controls worked with it. Other than that, I really didn't do much. To the left, kind of just going straight out. So Sultan Muhammed something airport, helicopter 420 Foxtrot Whiskey is departing direct from the taxiway to the west. We're only at 60% torque, I like that. Or less than 60, we're like 40%. Really cool helicopter, new to us. We had a couple different liveries, but I just wanted like an easy, more civilian looking one. I didn't know if the OH6 would be different interior on one of the more civilian interior. The deal with them, we have a shorter jump today. We're only doing a few islands over to Bali. So not too far, but I have like a little bit of a path set around so we can see a bit more, you know. I might follow it to the right up here because we're going up here anyway. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'll follow to the left actually. So we get to the water up here, I'll follow down to the left. Yeah, I like that. So if you were a part of the Discord, you would have heard the news today, but I went to go take my... Ooh, good shadow too. Kind of looks like a 520 in shadow with a thick tail boom. Oh yeah, these things are fucking tiny, so they can land anywhere. Tiny, plenty of power. But yeah, I went to go take my written exam today for my private helicopter license. And I was a complete idiot, and I missed just enough questions to score a 97. 70 is a passing score. I made a 97. So I missed 2 questions out of 65. I'm just as disappointed in myself as you guys are. I should have had a perfect score. But you can only do so much. So we got plenty of power left. Let's roll into this. Yeah, super depressing 97. Unsubbing, sorry GPS, I hate to disappoint you, but I'll see you next time. Maybe I can earn your sub back if I pass my practical first time. Actually, what I want to do, I want to share this to Taugs Hangar Discord. See if they have like a general thing. They have rules about self-promotion. I have one new subscriber. Berlin is the number one and more. Yeah, suck it, Berlin. Robert Harrison's the number one here. We're still going pretty much the right direction. Okay, so first impressions of this. It does seem to fly smoother than the Cowan Sim bird. The Cowan Sim bird, at least at speed, it is faster. It's a 500E. It is very strong left skid low. This one seems to be pretty level without me having to like fight it, which is nice. Handling wise, this seems a bit more tame. Of course, I don't know how that relates to real life either. She's back. She's gunning for number one. I literally have no idea how it works. I feel like it might be like a troll thing too, just to like increase shit between the people. No idea. I don't know, maybe it senses that you're just not really into it, Belinda. It senses your insincerity. Oh yeah, also thank you, Robert. I just looked back up and saw where you said that. So I'll be flying again tomorrow at noon-ish, if everything goes right. That's the plan, tentatively. So if you want to see me, you know the airport to look at and watch the flight radar. No idea what we're working on tomorrow, but we'll be working on something nonetheless. I feel like now the only things that I have left to do are autos and pinnacle landings. I still haven't done an exit from a confined area. Jeez, Belinda. It's just not giving it to you. CSG, no idea at the moment. Although I will definitely let you know as soon as I know. Big thing tomorrow that I'm seeing is all of the instructors from their Columbus location and the Auburn, Alabama location as well will be up here this weekend, in fact, because they're doing all of them are getting training on the Bell 47G that's in the fleet. So whatever I do tomorrow, it'll be with the eyes of many instructors on me, which is fun. But that doesn't bother me whatsoever. It's just more people to absorb information. Hispanic women are competitive, wow. Yeah, so part of me is kind of like, oh damn, I don't want to go do autos tomorrow with like 6 pairs of eyes watching me. But also it's like, they had a 22 flying around Auburn when it was heavily raining. It probably wasn't actually raining. From what I understand, we typically don't fly in the rain. They're more than capable of flying in the rain. If you have the visibility for VFR, you can do it. It's rough on the blades. It wears the paint down, and the paint covers a particular seam, and you don't want the seam to peel. So, either way. Like, we went flying last Tuesday, and there was like 2 storms around us. And we just avoided the storms. I don't think they went flying straight through it unless they Absolutely had to. But in the 22s, they're so lightweight that they get bounced around in any sort of turbulence. So I don't see why they would purposefully be out there doing it, but who knows, you know, maybe. Oh yeah, I'm fairly confident that I could pull off an auto if I needed to. A power recovery auto? I don't know. I feel like a full down would be something that I would be more than capable of doing. Just because I'm not worried about having to recover engine RPM and marry back up the governor and everything with the engine. So I'm not particularly worried about that. I'm more worried about the power recovery part. But also, the instructor would be in there with me, so no big deal. Well, so you see, Belen, I happen to remember many moons ago you said you would donate if I found a cat. Well, either the next stream or the next stream will be when we are in tiger territory. So we will be hunting for a cat for that donation. It might even be screenshotted somewhere for all I know. But it's there. And if you don't, I know where you live. That is an actionable threat. I wonder which heli it was, and do you remember the tail number? Was it a 92 Sierra? Yeah, apparently there are tigers in this game. It's just a matter of me figuring out how to find the tigers in the game. There's also snow leopards, but I don't think we're flying in the areas where snow leopards are. Here's this first bay thing that we're getting up to. We'll be following around this left side shore. I don't have any sort of turn coordinator on here, do I? Oh, we have one. I'm trying to just trim out the helicopter. Are you trying to look back to the episode? I have no fucking clue, dude. It was way back. Like Siberia or pre-Japan, maybe even fucking Alaska. I have no idea. It was a while back. Slowing down there some. But we can speed that back up. Oh, you're looking for the tail number. It was 907TH. Not sure who TH is. Or that might be the Auburn only ship. Let me see. Schedule. Let's see, Atlanta, our Hampton. Hampton, we have 44, that 22. Auburn, yeah, 907TH is one of ours. And then also, it could very well be that one of their instructors, or their instructor said, hey, instead of driving up for the Bell 47 weekend of learning and excitement and fun, they're just gonna fly in, we'll have a big old helicopter meet. Who knows? I'm just pumped that I got a barely passable score of 97. Which it'll do, you know. It'll be fine. Let's think. It gave me the codes to look up like what section of the questions I missed. One of them, it was talking about something. I was like, I don't remember missing that question because it was talking about dynamic rollover. And it's like you need a pivot point, a rolling moment, and thrust in whatever direction. And unless I'm completely wrong there, but I'm pretty sure that's the three things necessary for dynamic rollover. So either I clicked the button wrong or that thing was just there. Don't know why. But one of the questions was like, if you are looking to fly somewhere and you want to see and if an airport has like a taxiway shut down for some reason, for some like short notice maintenance, like where would you find that? And it was either like a NOTAM D, an SAA NOTAM, or an FDC NOTAM. So I've got no fucking clue. So I think I selected an FDC NOTAM because I've got no idea what that even means. But the correct answer was NOTAM D. I looked that up later. And I think another one that I got wrong was during the pre-flight planning or something. No, it won't. It won't be okay. I think it'll be fine. I'll survive. Hopefully. I think the other one was during pre-flight planning. What's something that you have to take into consideration? And like answer A was picking 2 alternate airports in case you cannot complete your flight plan as filed. B was like making yourself familiar with like runways and approaches and departures. And C was having an alternate plan in case something you can't complete the flight as filed. And it's like, I don't think there's a requirement for 2 runways. I think it's still something where it's 2 alternates. I think it's like, hey, have alternate plans however you seek fit. But that may have been wrong, but I think that was the other one I got wrong. But there were some questions where it was like, this is kind of, I don't want to say hearsay or whatever, but it was like, when discussing steep approaches, it was like you approach the, or like you move towards your approach spot or wherever you want to start the approach, and then when you're between like 10 to 12 degrees, you lower the collectives, that way you can push the cyclic forward to get your approach path. And one was like almost the same thing of saying that, but like 12 to 15 degrees, and another one was kind of like splitting the difference and something a little bit different. And it was like, I remember asking my instructor about approaches, because it's one thing that I've not struggled with, but just found to be not what I expected. I feel like my TV is loud right now. so I can reach this. Okay, got that. Yeah, it was loud. But I remember specifically asking about approaches because it was something that I not struggled, but just like working to understand. And there's like your standard approach, which is more or less where you're following the slightly steeper than an airplane's approach path. There's a shallow approach where you're like high altitude or you're heavy or something, where you're slightly below the airplane's approach path. And then there's a steep approach where you're way steeper than the airplane's approach path. But the steep approach is kind of dependent on your location, where you're going, what you're working around. If you're having to clear any obstacles, because guess what? Helicopters are helicopters. You're not always using a runway. And then a big thing for the approaches was you kind of treat them like like you put your location of where you want to descend to at the top of your glare shield. So when I'm making a shallow approach, I'm kind of like watching my sight here of where I want to land. A normal approach, I'm kind of lining it up here, and a steep approach, I'm lining it up here. Of course, on the Robinson, the glare shield's way down here instead of way up here. So if I was doing an approach off the glare shield here, it would almost be like a normal or shallower approach because of how high this is. But like here, let's do this little beach over here. We'll do an approach to the beach. Can't tell which way the wind's going. Water's not giving me much information. So we'll set our approach speed to like, I don't know, 45 knots or something. And then for our steep approach, I'm basically going to put it right over my pedals here, which were way high, which we can kind of start like a more normal approach coming into it. But for our final little bit, we're going to treat it as a steep approach. So right now, if I wanted to do a normal approach on the glare shield, I would do my approach and try to keep my landing point on the beach right there on top of the glare shield. But because we want it to be steeper, we're going to kind of level off here. Say we're avoiding trees, buildings, or whatever. And then I say, okay, cool. Now we're over the... So like you kind of plan your approaches by your side picture, if that makes sense. And all helicopters have different side pictures. And all steep approaches are kind of different. There is a by the book steep approach, but I think it was written just that way. There's like a set definition for it, you know. It's like the steep approach is so variable, but they can't just say like steep approaches just kind of depend on what you're doing. So they have to put some sort of numerical angle on it for the book, and my instructor's like, yeah, you don't need to know that. Well, he didn't say it like that, but it was kind of you put steep approaches here on the windshield, you do normals here, and you do shallows here. So that may have been one that threw me off. I think I guessed the right one, because they all seemed right-ish, but one just seemed a bit less weirdly worded than the other ones. It's like, okay, cool, whatever. You know, I'm not upset about my 97 or anything. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. Still recovering from whatever the hell this crud is. Did you have fun? Yeah, it wasn't bad. My friend actually got a job at the place where I took the test recently as a airplane mechanic, because it's a school that's, what is it, U.S. Aviation Academy or something. And apparently they're big enough to where they've earned the FAA seal of approval to do self-testing. So they do their written test, and I think they have their own employed DPEs that are instructors or DPEs, something like that, that do all of their actual practical testing as well. So I went to that school and did it. It's $175 fucking dollars, but whatever. None of this is cheap. So we need to get Multi-Shot Matt up another X amount of subscribers so I can start monetizing this shit to pay for my stupid expensive hobby. If anybody knows how to get 160 subs quick, let me know. It wasn't bad. It only took me like 30 minutes. I was kind of upset about it though, because I mentioned it in the Discord. But the practice test app that I was using is called Prepware. It has a whole bunch of like student, sport, recreational practice tests and stuff. So I paid $10 for this app that I used for like a week and a half. Whatever, no big deal. Post more metal building. Yeah, metal building does good. Anyways, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so... test. Yeah, so, like, I did the test app has, like, 686 questions, I think. Or different questions, all in, like, different, topics. So it's all not just, like, helicopter aerodynamics. You know, there's some on rules and regulations, weather, the weather reporting services, whatever. And I don't know if there's a specific amount of each topic that is supposed to be in the test itself, where like the testing app is pretty decent, where I had like a solid number of questions from everything. Like there's a good number of like airport signage related questions, a good number of regulation questions, a good number of weight and balance and plotting and planning and cross country and navigation. Like there's a good bit of everything, you know? So I have this nice fancy CX3 calculator, which is like the cost of a graphing calculator, that does your airspeed, does your wind corrections, does your altitude conversions, does everything. Like it's literally made for pilots. And I do all these practice tests, and some of these things, it's like I can just type into like a particular app on the calculator made for it. But I wanted to learn how to do it on just like the calculator side, you know, in case they say like, cool, you can't use this calculator, you got to use our little arithmetic only calculator. So I spend a significant amount of time learning and memorizing all of these different equations and getting familiar with how they want to do something. Like one of them's figuring out pressure altitude, where let's say, or well, it is 2992 is standard altitude, and 59 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 degrees Celsius is standard temperature. So that's when you say like measuring 0 feet at sea level, like that's standard altitude, standard temperature. Everything else is a variation of that. So to figure out pressure altitude, like let's say I'm at our airport that I train at, it's just under 900 feet, so 900 foot altitude. And let's say that the pressure of the day is a bit of a lower pressure. So it's, or let's say it's a higher pressure, 3012. So a higher pressure than the 2992. 3012 is 2992 up to, that's 1020, so it's 0.20 higher. The basic rule is every one is 1,000 feet, so 2892 is 1,000 foot lower, or 3092 is 1,000 foot higher. Anyway, so that equates to about 200 feet. So you take like my 900 foot elevation. Since it's a higher pressure, it'd be a lower elevation. That makes my elevation like 700 feet-ish. That's like the quick way of mentally doing the math to figure out your pressure altitude. That's not how they do it on the test. They give you like the pressure altitude quick reference graph or whatever. And let's say it shows 3010 being plus or minus like 70, and 3020 being plus or minus like 165. Anyways, you take like the 70 plus 165, divide that by 2 to figure out the average of that, then you divide that or multiply that times 0.2, which is how many higher it was from the 3012 versus 3010, and then you do your math on your measured altitude or your indicated altitude with that, instead of just doing the how far away is it from standard and add a 0. So like they have their own way of doing it, and we give you like a discretion. So not mad at it. I kind of wanted to do some conversions and stuff because I brought my calculator. I spent so much time, but literally absolutely no weight and balance questions. No performance calculation questions. There's only like 1 or 2 questions about VOR navigation, which is another thing that you really don't do in a helicopter, but that's this gauge set up here in one of these radios down here. Yeah, nav. This one here. So anyway, it's kind of upset that I didn't get to do any of those, because I feel like maybe if it had less questions that I missed, and it would have had like a weight and balance question and traded it out, I would have get that one right, and I maybe would have had a 98 or 99 or 100, but either way, not that huge of a deal, you know? Well, it is that huge of a deal. I should have made 100. I am better than that. But it's all stuff wherever you're going in for your pilot's license, and you need to learn this stuff too, so. Welcome to Matt's Flight School. I am not a CFI, but I can help my homie study. I will say that ASA Prepware app was pretty solid, because I did Helicopter Online Ground School, HOGS. They have a decent YouTube presence. There's also King's Ground School, but I didn't find them. I've been kind of following hogs since they had YouTube presence for a while. And a lot of good reviews and stuff on it. Hopefully I'll be able to cancel that subscription here in like a month or so. Because I'm at just about 10 hours now flight time. And I'm hoping to get anywhere from 1 to 2 hours a day, basically every day, for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Literally every single day that I possibly can, I want to jam in time. So, hopefully I'll be appropriately houred up shortly. I can do my check ride. As soon as that's over, I can turn off the $100 a month subscription to Hogs, which they've done great, but they have it set up so they're not mad at you when you cancel your subscription, because guess what? Everybody goes through school and they learn, you know? But yeah, their test at the end was very good for helicopter stuff, all the helicopter weather related stuff, but there was a lot of regulation things that I wasn't aware that I needed to learn that I found with prepware. So I was thankful that I was suggested that. Because I would have been caught pretty hard with the pants down on that one. Yeah, also kind of bummed that I didn't get more VOR questions. I literally was watching videos on the way there today, because there was always like 15 VOR navigation questions in all the practice tests. Yeah, $100 per month. But you gotta think, I'm also paying like $100 per hour for an instructor to do it IRL. So $100 per month is not a bad deal when you're only using it for a couple of months, versus 40 or 50 hours of ground in real money. So it's saving a good bit. I think King's ground school's like $300 or $400 or $500 or something like that. You'll have to check. But I think it's not a monthly thing. I think it's a one-time thing. But either way, it's like I ran my hogs longer than probably what I needed to. I think I started it back in like January or something. So I've had it run out. I've spent $1,000 on helicopter online ground school. Really, I could have done it just like the past month or so and been fine. But I had been kind of watching it as I work out. So I've been halfway not paying attention to it until this past few weeks. And it's like, oh, I'd wake up and I would dive right into it, get the laptop and my notebook, go outside, sit on the deck. Ooh, big wind right there. Wind shear. Sit on the deck, make notes for like 3 or 4 hours straight, just watching the videos and writing everything down. Because like, you can watch the videos, but you kind of tune out. So even though I don't learn by writing stuff down has me more engaged, to a point where I need to ask questions to myself because I want to write down more than what he's saying, so that I further research and develop my own like full, complete understanding of it. No idea what airport this is, but I kind of marked it like a third of the way in. I think we're more than good with fuel right now. Yeah, but we're still going to stop in, and it's good to get some slow work with the helicopters. You know, you can straighten level's not hard to do. It's everything else that's the booger. Let's see, where's our ramp? It's on this side. Lowering the collective, coming cyclic evening out here. I see where we're going. It kind of looks like fuel stuff there in front of whatever that AT-72 is. What we're going to do, we're actually going to circle around at this. Oh, no, the wind's coming this way, so we're going to do the rude fella thing and kind of fly in front of it. That's its fault for being next to the fuel farm that's inconveniently placed. Looks like this may be the front side back here. Also, I just noticed that this thing has pretty decently modeled drift to it. My chair slid back some. Can't think of the fucking name for it. What's the drift called? Still rolling backwards? Nothing I can do about it. Shit. Gyroscopic precession, not that. Dang it. I forget. I gotta look this up because it's gonna bug me. Translating tendency, that's it. So translating tendency is the tail rotor here in order to, the helicopter's trying to, my laser pointer? Helicopter's trying to do this because the rotor's doing it the other way. So to keep the helicopter from rotating this way, the tail is pushing that way. Well, what happens when the tail pushes that way and you're hovering? The entire helicopter kind of pushes to the right as well. And that's called translating tendency. Now some helicopters, I can't see if this one does or not. So I can't get this lined up exactly behind it. So I can, no, I think they're pretty centered up. Anyway, some helicopters will have the rotor, main rotor, slightly tilted one way or the other to help combat the translating tendency, but I don't see why it's that big of a deal unless you plan on hovering a whole bunch. Yes, it's a helicopter. Usually you're flying. Well, I guess for stuff like this it could be used for utility work as well. So if you're flying near a power line, it's nice. You see how we're pushing to the right there? Let me get my toes on the pedals instead of the arch of my foot. So if I just hold my cyclic straight, we start going that way. So I have to keep a little bit of... Also the wind is coming from that direction, so what I'll do, I'll push into the wind. So even with us aiming directly into the wind, we're getting a little bit of right push. So you have to do just an ever so slight bit of left on the cyclic, or right if it's the other direction. And that's translating tendency, and that's modeled decent in here. I like that. Icky. Okay, let's get the GPS reset back up. Okay, going to the southeast now. What sort of heading is that? What are we doing? Like a 1.5, 2.3, somewhere in there. Not bad. Anyway, there's one of your heli facts for the day. Translating tendency. So GPS, what's new with you? Or what's new with anybody else in here watching? Don't know if Berlin or Robert's still in here. Nothing interesting? That's no fun. Oh, speaking of nothing interesting, I believe Sunday, if everything goes right, I may fly the R-44 on Sunday. We'll see. One of my homies, who's one of the people that I called first when I went to go do my my initial discovery, first lesson type thing, whatever. He wants to ride along, but obviously you can't ride along in the 22, and I can't take passengers until I'm at a private level. But what he can do is ride along in the 44 while I'm doing a lesson with the instructor with me. That's something that is allowed as far as I know. And he said he would pitch in whatever the cost difference is between 22 to 44. So there's a chance. There's a chance I'll be flying Kilo Fox on Sunday. But we'll see. If not, it'll be the next weekend, and if not, it'll be eventually. You know, it's it's one of those matter of time things. I plan on getting up to speed in the 44 regardless. Just because it's me being 185 pounds, and I have friends that are not smaller than me, that want to ride as well. It's like, cool, it's either we take the 22 and like a quarter tank of gas, so we fly for 20 minutes, or I get the 44 and we take like 3 people. Because the 44 not only just more seats, but a significant bit more power as well. Speaking of power, let's throw some climb up in this bitch. We're doing 100 knots, we don't need that speed. Oh, you did riding on Man of War? You may have seen my uncle. I don't know if he went out there, but he's always on the Man of War. Do you have like a purpose-built bike now, or are you like a road biking sort of person now, or? But yeah, so like I want to get checked out and mountain bike. Ooh man, putting some effort into it then. So yeah, I want to be up to speed on the 44 soon. Either way, just because I want to give different people rides. Like my mom, even though she wants to ride, I doubt she wants to be in a little hot R22 with the doors off and no AC. So the 44 would just be a much nicer thing, you know. I know that, so I'm not going to act like if you want to ride with me, you got to get in the 22. Like, oh, fuck that. If you're around the 44 and you want to cut the cost, you know, like that's on y'all. I owe you a ride regardless anyways, so. And that was promised at the beginning of time. A glass ball and unsafe. Is your mom a helicopter enthusiast? Or does she just see a small helicopter and go, oof, no? Which honestly, it feels a lot more solid than you would expect. Like, weirdly. Like, you're doing the pre-flight on it, you're like, man, this thing is built from little tubes and stuff, and like when it's flying, you know, it feels fucking solid. Like it feels just as solid as like my 2004 Lexus does, like as far as like how tight controls are and everything. Like it feels just as good. Nope, she just sees the little bitty thing and she goes, oof, no. Yeah, 22, it feels, I mean, also it's a fucking $100,000 plus vehicle. It better feel fucking solid. Yeah, the Bell 47 really is a glass ball. But I've yet to handle one in person. I'll get to see one this weekend because, like I said, they're bringing all the instructors down to get up to speed or get current or get recency. Whatever level of training in the 47. So I'll see that either way this weekend. Which that would be a cool one to learn how to fly also, because there is no governor, there's no correlator, the throttle is purely you. Also, it's got a decently heavy rotor system. Anytime soon? No, probably not. Unless they offer it to me to do like a quick lap of pattern. But, I'm not planning on it anytime soon. We'll see. It also kind of depends on like what rental cost is. If it's similar to the R22, then maybe. But also I kind of want to jam out my first 200 hours as much Robinson as I can. Because if I need to do the instructor route to help build hours, I have to have 200 hours in the Robinsons to instruct in a Robinson. I can have the 125, 150, whatever it is for a CFI and go instruct in a Cabri, G2 or a Bell or whatever, you know, any other helicopter. But to instruct in a Robinson, you have to have 200 hours in a Robinson. So, I think it'd be worth it for me to focus most of my... What the fuck is that? Is this just like a cloud that was like super angular and white that got turned into a fucking mountaintop thing here? What is this? Oh, it's a little village. It just didn't render as a village. Or it kind of did. It's supposed to be all little huts like that, but it just turned into big. Looks like a monastery type thing there. Anyways. But yeah, 47, it'd be cool to fly. Big fucking bubble glass. Huge inertia rotor system. I think a Saloy 47 would be really fucking fun to fly. Saloy is a company that did a turbine conversion for those. And there's a helicopter company called English Air Service, which you should follow them on Instagram. They don't have a lot of followers, but they have like 20 helicopters and a couple of caravans. Caravans, I think. Anyways, they have some turbine converted Bell 47s that they use for ag work. Family owned business. Recently sold to a different family, so it's no longer under the English family. Still does everything, but it's like CEO'd by somebody who's super fucking cool, like another smaller family type thing. But yeah, Saloy 47, that'd be a neat one to get a hand on. Oh. Which I keep seeing more and more ads for. Like helicopter pilot needed for all these different utility companies that I'd love to work for. It's like, man, if only I had known that this was the path I really wanted to do way back then, I could be well into all this stuff and full-time doing this years ago if I had just thought about it, you know. Like if I really wanted to in like 2019 I could have knocked this out. 2021 I could have. I was too busy focusing on other things and getting other stuff set up and figured. Really early as like 2016 I could have started making this work. Or did the military path, you know. Helicopter I want to fly the most. Like, don't get me wrong, like these MDs are fucking cool. I'm also 6'2". Of course, Cletus McFarland, he's 6'7" or 6'8". He has an MD 500E, which is the pointy nose version. And it's like these I think would be the most fun to fly just because they're the like best power to weight ratio than everybody that I've talked to that's flown them, so they're just kind of like jetpacks. So a 500 would be fun. Kind of have a thing for the no-tar helicopters, but the 600N does something for me. It's the one where you can, it's like the double seating in the back where you can have a like limousine type seating where they face each other. Where this is just a normal door, the 600N is a bigger, more limousine area. I think one of those would be super cool. Like, you can get saws attached to it. A lot of these 500s are used for utility work where you fly next to power lines with the dude sitting on a platform on the side and are taking people on a rope and dropping them off up on towers and stuff, and like the 500s look fun, don't get me wrong. 600 in, I think if it was something that I had to like, where I think that me and the helicopter will just like mesh, I think the 600 in will like tickle my pickle the best. I really want to fly an A-Star, the AS350 H125 platform, like the newer B3 models with all the power. I think that'd be super fucking cool. But really, I think like if you're just looking at like just something that I want to fly, where it's probably not going to be a job or anything like that, the Bell 214 ST, either the big single engine or the twin engine. I think the ST is the twin. That's basically a Huey, but a few days ago there were 2 GSP 206s flying along the roads in my area, very loud. Interesting. GSP is somebody I'm looking at for employment because you don't have to be commercially rated, although they prefer it. But I am going to look into that as soon as I have my private. Also kind of had a soft job offer from a company that's non-film related that I'm considering. It just depends on what my props team from Will Trent season 4 says. They invited me to go shooting today, but I was doing my test today, so couldn't go do that with them. But if season 4 is happening, I'm pretty sure they're going to be the ones doing it. And they're the ones doing it, then I'm pretty sure I'll be the one there. But we'll see. So that could be nice. It could give me a solid income doing something, and it could also be a thing where they say like, cool, we need you, because it's a kind of an on-the-road, off-the-road thing. Like 2 weeks on the road, 1 week off. So if I did that, obviously streaming would not be a thing that much anymore, but I would be making pretty solid money doing like construction, site management sort of things. But that could be something where I'm like, hey guys, you know, I'm a helicopter pilot, I'd like to fly to these sites. That's something that we can arrange a company helicopter where I can do that, and I can go hit multiple sites in one day. Instead of having to fly to one place, then drive there, and then drive all the way to somewhere else, like I can just teleport basically with this. So that could be a thing. But I don't know if that's something I want to do, because it all depends with the film stuff, you know. There's a lot of other jobs that I would like to do, but film is so fun. It's lucrative. I enjoy doing it. You know, I had a job over the strikes, but I was like, look, dude, when film comes back, like, I'm probably going to go back to it. Just because y'all can't pay what film does and give me the same benefits and time off and everything else. I don't know. It's all in the air. Like me and my stunt friends, we're starting to work on some stuff, so hopefully maybe I'll see a little bit of easy stunt work as far as like background driving and gun guy deeper in the background. Like, I'm not trying to take anybody's hero stunt position gig, you know, just put me back there, let me get residuals. It's like y'all are gonna bring in somebody that you don't like anyway who just has a credit. Bring me in. I don't have credits, but you like me. Season 4 start date, no idea yet. I'm assuming that might have been why they met up today, to kind of like start discussing that. I don't have any news on it yet, but I did text the prop master, like, hey dude, sorry I couldn't make it today. And I was like, but he's like, yeah, we missed you, and it was surprisingly awkward turn of events. Somebody else showed up there, so maybe it was for the better. But he was like, how's the helicopter stuff? And I'm like, yeah, still training, you know, but I'll just be private. You know, I'm not anywhere near making money because of regulations. Like, it's just basically like me at this point will just be me flying myself around and giving friends rides, you know, or charity something. But I know the last one, it started season 3. It was like early August that we started filming. But I did see a thing pop up while we were approved for season 4. It was like they're going to wait until mid-season to start showing season 4 stuff. So instead of, I don't know if we're going to start filming the same time. I would hope so. But they're going to make it where it's not like releasing as soon or something like that. Because we were still filming when they were like 4 episodes away from the finale. So we were kind of cutting it a little bit close. We can go and start cutting this way. Because I was just coming down here to make a shorter water crossing. Yeah, hoping season 4 turns into something soon. Before we get down here, I want to sit down on the beach real quick. The main reason for that would be I want to set my altimeter. Going. Just want to have my altimeter set somewhere near sea level. Oh, dang, it's set. 2986. Laggy. There's a rare 2 Delta planes on the ground. Delta flies down there? I guess that's why you said rare. It's a big fucking mountain over there. Due to the 655 departure delayed to 10:40. Oh wow. Is there even that much of like an airport terminal down there? Because when I went down, I didn't really pay attention to that. I just kind of went over to the Tier 1 area and called that good, you know. Also, what sort of planes are they? We're talking like 320 sized or smaller? I would assume smaller. Like more like connection style planes, like the big 190s or something. It's a nice term. Really? I'm gonna have to Google it. Look at photo reviews. CRJ 700 and CRJ 9. Okay, yeah, so that general size of commuter-ish sort of things. Black Hawk magnets. Is that too early? Too soon? How often do they fly down there? Is it an everyday thing that Deltas are coming in there? Also, what would drive the most traffic? Is it just people coming in? Because isn't is it Army Basic that's down there? Because I know the base is down there. They do a lot of parachuting and stuff. So it could just be airborne school, or is it basic training down there as well? I've only flown out of it once, and it was when American flew here in 2022. Still relatively recent. If it's basic, I can see people getting tickets down there like, oh man, we don't want to drive the hour and 15 minutes from Atlanta to Columbus. Let's spend an extra $400 on a plane ticket to go to some small regional place. 3 a day and 2 on Saturday. Weird. Hey, that's more than the Macon airport does, so. Weirdly, that runway felt smaller than the Speedway KHMP up here. KHMP feels big. Maybe it's just the newer pavement and stuff on it. I don't know, maybe CSG does feel longer. How much does your job pay to where it's worth it for you to hop on a commuter jet to go back and forth to Atlanta every day? I'm sure there's also deals that you can get where you're flying for much cheaper. I saw one thing on a super commuter who lived in like, I don't want to say Hong Kong, but it was somewhere kind of like that, where they lived somewhere that was like 100 miles away, but they worked for the airline, so they flew in on the airline daily and flew home daily on it, and then lived out of town, and it was actually cheaper for them to do that and saved some time. And a 7,000 foot, okay. And they have an off time where they don't fly. Oh, I didn't say how much. Did I say how much did you make? I'm just wondering how much they make to justify, like, cool, let's live in Columbus. Also, what makes you want to live in Columbus? Or what makes them want to live in Columbus versus somewhere else? This looks like a boat to me. Oh, they're under power. Oh, main runway reconstruction. Oh, pay attention to what I'm doing, Matt. I'm trying to read comments. Yeah, I'm not gonna say the 4,000 foot runway felt like a joke, but also like they can't go any further. It's very fucking limited where it's at. But it definitely did feel like it was just like underutilized by other stuff, so. Looks like we're pretty happy with this heading here, actually. That's nice. What's the length of KHMP? I guess I should know that since I fly out of that airport. Oh, they're doing main reconstruction, so okay. But either way. Yeah, their runway seemed like it's had a life. Which when we were doing our patterns, like he was like, y'all want to use the whatever runway? We're like, no, let's put us on, what is it, runway 6? I think it's 624. You're like, put us on the main runway, put us in pattern, let us practice our Delta radio calls. 5,500. Okay, so CSG is longer by a quarter mile. Henry County's just nice. Speedway Airport up here, it's super solid. Brand new looking pavement on it. Very few scratch marks on it. Like there was a plane that crashed there a few weekends ago. A twin engine plane nose gear collapsed. So there's like a little scratch on it. There's a few little scratches near the numbers where we were doing like run-on landings and stuff. But very, very nice pavement and stuff because they keep, Henry County keeps up with it. They a lot of good money coming through there for the race seasons and. Anyway, it's very well maintained. Dude, yeah, the whole fucking thing felt like it was 80 years old. Like, I kind of got down there expecting, like, CSG to be like, oh, man, this is, like, some big shit. Not some big shit, but, like, some medium shit airport. Like, no, it was just a big shit. No offense to your home airport or anything, but it definitely felt like a lot of place for not a lot of movement and stuff on it. Very sleepy airport is what we said. My instructor was like, yeah dude, fucking Columbus is a sleepy airport. He's like, the fucking controller will just be happy that somebody's down there flying patterns, like coming in from out of town. Let's see, we're kind of heading towards these mountains over here. I just want to do a short flight tonight. Got to fly tomorrow. Just want to wake up and have some food, not sleep in too late. You don't like how bad it is as well. I wonder what changed from the 80s to now. Like what's been the death of the regional airport? That'd be a cool YouTube video to do. Like, there's always like those historical videos and stuff. Like, those have always been something like I will fucking sit down and watch a 20 or 30 minute video on something like that. But the death of the regional airport. That could be a cool video. Wait, they get to fly on a Global X? Or Global X is the company. The airline. Oh no, it's just normal. Okay. I hear global and I think like Bombardier Global. Excuse me. I was like, they're sending fucking illegals on Bombardier private jets. I think it's Bombardier as a Global, or is it the Falcon Global? Either way. From regional to metropolitan. I feel like that's a lot of airports. I'm going to dig deeper into this. Because I know there's a lot of politics to do with it as well. Because politicians will get like the weird routes planned from one airport to like some city or some shit like Macon, Georgia. Like the airline service routes that come out of there are fucking weird. And that's when y'all got 3 gates. So y'all went from regional to metro when y'all got gates there. So then, cool, you spend all this money on an airport, then sorry, downgrade. We're still good on fuel, but we're going to shoot another to the ramp approach at this airport. I'm not going to map it, I'm just going to scout it. Yeah, dude, this thing's flying good. I'm enjoying this. I hate the headroom in here, but that's just like a part of the fact of flying a fucking MD. You're mad that American Express stopped. Or is it American? What do they call it? American Eagle. American Express is the credit card. Looks like the ramp's on the other side. Yeah, I've watched a lot of, like, I'm a big fan of, like, independently made documentary stuffs on YouTube. Excuse me. And that's something I've always kind of been interested in doing for the channel. Because that's one of the reasons why it's multi-shop, Matt. Like, I want to be able to do multiple things and not be limited to just... yeah, this channel does this channel does that. It only does this. Like, I'm not doing it to make big money or like feel some sort of itch. I'm doing it to like enjoy my creativity. So doing informational docs like that is something that I've thought about doing because it's something I enjoy watching. I enjoy the idea of doing a whole bunch of still don't see the fuel farm anywhere. I enjoy the idea of doing a whole bunch of the research and everything else, but it's like a fuel truck. Looks So that fuel farm may be way down there. We're just going to steal Jet A from the truck over here. Hello, friend. Let's see, there's my F button for fuel. Fuel tops off. And we're heading directly to the east, or sorry, to the west now. I think that takes us straight. Little water crossing, island, water crossing, Bali. Sick. What I'll do, I'll actually put a 66 miles, not bad. A whole bunch of little helipads around there. That's what we may do. When we get over there, we may turn our little thing back on again where we can see helipads and stuff, and we might do some pad work, some pinnacle approaches and whatever. Okay, so left pedal would have left cyclic to compensate for the translating tendency. Straight up. Left pedal turn instead of right pedal turn. Okay, I know Tom's not here, but let's do a little bit of trivia. Why, in a helicopter with a counterclockwise rotating system like this, would you want to do a left pedal turn instead of a right pedal turn? Or why would you prefer to do a left pedal turn instead of a right pedal turn? What's a reasoning behind that? If there's anything else about CSG I want to know about, because the rotor spin helps the turn. Kind of the opposite. So if I were to not do any sort of pedal stuff to counteract, the helicopter would spin to the right. So it takes more effort for the helicopter to go left, or to do a left pedal turn. It's very easy for it to go right. So with that said, it's super easy to get an uncontrolled right spin if you fuck up, being that you put too quick of a turn, or too quick of a right pedal turn in, to where you can kind of put your tail rotor into its own little vortex ring state. And also, if you do happen to get loss of tail rotor effectiveness while doing a left pedal turn, or it's a lot less likely for it to happen because you have the counter torque of the engine and rotor system anyways. So it's a safer thing to do your left pedal turns, to give yourself that little bit of not worrying about it getting out of hand, you know. It's I'm trying to think there's a better way to explain it. The helicopter can basically correct for itself if something goes haywire while you're doing your left pedal turn. If you're doing a right pedal turn and something goes wrong, you're already spinning in the wrong direction anyways you might not have enough power to slow yourself down. Yeah, I like the idea of doing that, a video about, oh damn. Speaking about damn, I've yet to check out the Hoover Dam in the game. either here or in 2020. It is cool to me how fast this thing fucking climbs. Like, I'm basically maintaining airspeed here with like 1,000 foot per minute climb. I'm not even using like full available torque yet. I ran like 65% torque there. You know, 100 knots, it's easily maintaining. I can go up to like a 2,000 foot climb. It's holding 90 knots at a 2,000 foot per minute climb. Yeah, I like the idea of making a video about that. That sounds fun. A lot of research to do. And being somebody who like works in the film industry, part of my brain really appreciates like scripted stuff. I think if you do it right, it makes a very, very like welly and fully cohesive video. Especially when you do the research, like you save the pictures, the videos, the stock images, whatever, and like doing your own research, going to location, doing some talking there. Because I like the idea of narrating something, but from different locations. Whereas like, cool, maybe I set up my office here to where I discuss, let's say it's a 20-minute video, and like the first 5 minutes is in the office talking with the other stuff going on, other pictures and information. But then at some point, like, I'm continuing on with the same sentences, the same cohesive script, but I'm standing at CSG or Macon or somewhere else, you know, like different little regional airports, metropolitan airports that used to be busy and used to be popping. And pop between different ones and different spots, and maybe in a plane or a helicopter narrating one thing or the other, and it makes it seem like the video was like very well planned, because I mean obviously it would be if you're doing all of that effort. Yeah, that's something I'd be interested in doing. And I've always really liked videos like that, so it only makes sense that I would attempt to jump into that genre. "54 miles. Bali, here we come." Ugh. Slower night tonight. It is Friday night, right? Yeah. Hey, there's some boats down here. Expected the water to be more blue. We'll see what it looks like when we hit Bali. Maybe they just happen to get like shitty monsoon water here in these pictures, it looks like. The water looks gray, looks shitty. But I think that's also, like, you can see on the map there, some of the satellite imagery looks muddy, so it's probably like just after rain where everything's washing down into the water and cloudy and hazy. I think the water's super fucking nice down here. Because we're only, what, fucking 50 miles from Bali. And a shit ton of little resorts and stuff. Sometimes we just do maneuvering for fun. You know? Sometimes you don't have to fly in the straight line. We have happy little maneuverings. And also I am trying to go slightly nicer on my voice. The last time that we went, my voice was toasted from the past weekend. I could fucking feel it after the stream. Oh yeah. Way funner than flying straight level. That's why I do fucking helicopters. I enjoy the dynamics of helicopters and helicoptering. It's such a, like, marvelously complicated piece of machinery. Basically go anywhere, basically land anywhere. Give or take, obviously, some limitations, especially in the 22. Especially in the heat. I think if it was colder outside, we could definitely get out of the hole that we've been going, or if I wasn't as fucking big as I was. On the double. Seize the moment. Punny. It's funny, that looks like a huge water crossing, but it's like 8 miles. I just have the map zoomed in so far. That craft does not look like a pleasure craft. Dude, boat people are fucking wild to me. Like, some of these people in these little boats, like, sail across the fucking Pacific to get down here. And they just do it. Like, no big deal. Yeah, let's just go down here. It's a 1.5 crossing. No big deal. If we die, we die. At least we died doing what we love and we're eaten by the sharks. Or we just had a shit ton of rain come through. I think a front came through. I need to look at the weather to see what we look like tomorrow. Hoping it's good. I haven't flown in like a fucking week. Craving it. So he went on vacation. And I got like 1 or 2 days with him. And then some doctor had him basically rented out non-stop for it's not a massive water crossing, it just looks big as we zoomed in. Where's my mouse? Look how small that water crossing is there now. No big deal. But yeah, some doctor basically rented out the instructor for like an entire week. He did his fixed wing to helicopter add-on I think they did it in 8 days. So he was doing like full 8 hours a day lessons and everything. So, I need more power to him. I feel like I could do that amount of time a day. I just don't know if it'd be worth it if I'd get everything out of it. I can do like 3 hours a day easily doing the learning. But it's kind of like the level of which amount of hours a day am I going to get the most out of. 1 hour a day, not enough. I need more than an hour. 2 to 3 hours a day, yeah, I can do that. We've been averaging like 1.5 to 2 hours a day for most of my days so far. They look me up and say, yeah, I want to pack my bags there and just go there on my boat. Easy peasy, no big deal. And it's fucking wild, dude. Like, you see, like, the paths of some of these boats and, like, where they originated from, and you're like, how the fuck did you make it out here? Like, you didn't ship your boat out here? Because there's boats that ship other boats. But, like, some of these people just, like, hop in their little fucking, like, 40-foot sailboat. Like, them and their wife, and they're just like, okay, cool, let's go to Bali. What? Like, I can understand going up and down the coast. That's not that big of a deal. Like a full-ass crossing? Insane. Absolutely batshit insane. Okay, BRB. See ya. Adios. Hope he's back before we get to Bali. Welcome back. You definitely made it back before we made it to Bali. We're still in the water crossing. One of many. Yeah, a whole bunch of like little small crossings today, nothing too bad. All with the shore in view on the other side, so that's good. Also, imagine flying instrument on something like this back in the fucking day. Holy shit. I'm curious if Bali has a VOR. I'm sure it does. It has to, right? I need to look into that. I'd like to start adding some little things like that too. Steam gauges confuse you? They're not that bad. And obviously we have airspeed here, which also shows mile per hour. Cool thing, not all ones do that. We have our turn coordinator and our artificial horizon here. Turn coordinator being this little ball here, the attitude indicator. Altitude, right now we're at 1,600 feet and climbing, because we're in between the 1 and the 2. This up here, we haven't crossed to 1, and we go up to 10,000 feet. That's where that mark comes in, but we never touch that down here. Vertical speed indicator, this is how quick we are climbing or not climbing. So my nose over to start going down, you see that levels off and goes down. Compass, obviously, this is a rotor RPM and engine RPM. Right now our engine RPM is slightly low, but it's okay because our rotor RPM is good. Turbine outlet temperature TOT, torque percentage, how much pressure is built in the transmission right now for the operation of the main rotor blade. Let's see, adjusting my headset. Engine RPM, oil pressure, amperage, engine temperature, fuel. That's just a little placard letting us know limits on stuff. This is our VOR. Or the radio type thing. So what we would do is this particular gauge is technically connected to this radio here, and whatever frequency, you know how to read them, but I'm using the Garmin glass. Well, do you know VOR shit? Yeah, so there are frequencies where we could tune this to a frequency that would allegedly be at the place that we're going or place that we're navigating from. And we set this to go there, and then it will deviate if we're off path or not. All the gauges are pretty simple. Garmin's are nice, but I also don't mind this, you know. Dude, Bali looks fucking busy. People coming in. Shoo. I'm actually curious about the VOR there now if it works. I've got a VOR of something tuned in there. It's moving. I'll sit down this little field up here. See if I can check airport remarks and see if there's a section where something with that frequency in there. I don't know what sort of animals those are, but they're running away. Those fucking elephants? I don't know what they are. Actually, let me do this real quick. Shift V. Dang it. Let's see. That's how that works. I've got no fucking clue. I don't know why they don't like helicopters. Maybe they're fucking stupid. Dino does. Stop running, you fucking majestic fucks. No, those are like water buffalo or something. Go for the tree, you fucking idiot. Watch where you're going. Okay, anyways. I don't think I used this right. Oh well. Hey, don't insult Dino like that. Bali, we're like 20 miles away. It's literally this next island. Yeah, I've brought Dino to the airport once, and he was just fucking watching stuff through the fence. I don't think he was like, yo, dude, it's fucking airplane. I think he was just like, oh shit, look, stuff's moving out there. And it sounds like the stuff Dad's always looking at outside anyways. Ooh, finally have some low clouds up here. Because I know the island's low up here because it kind of does like a U shape type thing. Cool house there. But I bet it almost looked like this fucking IFR up here, but it's like right here in front of us there. I think it's just the clouds on the horizon. MSM Edits, welcome in. Glad to see ya. Got here near the end. We were doing a shorter stream today, and we're almost at destination, which is Bali. But I'm going to do some helipad stuff, and we're flying the new 500C from Tau Oaks Hangar. So yeah, welcome to the stream. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, it looks like just clouds over the horizon. Doesn't look like it's fogged up over the airport any. Probably circle in from the north as well. Yeah. I'm not sure where the appropriate, maybe the south. I don't know where the FBOs and stuff are here in Bali. I don't know where the most appropriate helicopter spot would be. S76, I did look for it before the stream today. It is not out yet. It's been uploaded to the thing, so it's going through whatever Microsoft does to certify it. So it's been uploaded to Flight Sim 2024, the Microsoft servers, but not available yet. But I was looking for that today. I'm curious how different that's going to be from the 222 Bravo that we use. Both from the same developer, so I'm assuming they're going to feel similar. S76 seems longer. I like the curves on the 222 better. But TBD, that's a few days away. And also the Miltech simulations. I think they're the ones doing the Black Hawk. The Black Hawk should be out soon as well. I don't know when. They've been kind of quiet with their workings, but it's also getting close. There's that one I'm actually really excited about. I was kind of pumped for this 500C. I'm kind of pumped for the S76. I'm really pumped for the Black Hawk. Just because it's such a cool platform anyways. So many cool redundancies and capabilities and everything. See, those are the runways out in front of us here. Kind of in this right here area. Yeah, everything's soon. It's a big month for releases. Let's buzz this boat. Got about 800 feet to drop. Slowly lowering me collective. I still like the 500. I like this model in the game better. I think this flies slightly better than the Cowan one, which they've addressed that they need to work on their flight model some on theirs. I like this flight model. In real life, though, I like the 500E more. I like the pointy nose. It looks more modern. This one, even though they could make a new one or whatever, it just seems older. Still cool though. Doesn't it look like a no-tar tail in our shadow? Okay, we'll sit down here and lock in our final position. Then I want to go bounce around some of these helipads. $500D is a better tail. Yeah, it looks good. 530F, that's where it's at. You want more power? 530F. It's basically the 500E, but more power. 520N, super cool. 600N, though, that's where my heart's at. I love me some 600N. Like, that's the background of my phone, is a 600N. Like if I were to play and win the lottery, 600N is probably going to be my first purchase, helicopter-wise. I would also get like an A-star, because I think that'd be more practical. But the 600, God, they just have my heart. Love them. Down here, look out for those. We're gonna land over my tower. Bali International Helicopter 420 Foxtrot Whiskey, call sign Volkswagen. Crossing midfield to land over in front of you for the FBO Bali Tower. Clear left, clear right. There's the fuel stuff over here. We'll come park by here so we have a starting point for tomorrow. A lot of runway and taxi lights out of here. Little fucking dildos sticking up. just like in real life, left skid does hang a little bit low. Okay, boys, there we go. We have made it on today's portion of the journey, which is Sultan Muhammed Salahuddin Airport to Bali International. And now I want to turn on this thing right here because we've got a whole bunch of helipads around, and I want to bounce around. So if I crash now, then that's considered shenanigans. But we've made it to our destination, so now we play around for fun. Five miles, 5 miles. Ooh, there's one right here. Yes, but it's a no-tar tail, that's why it looks funny. Where are you? Do you even have a helipad there? Just a building? I don't think that building's we'll give it a shot though. Let's see if this roof is a roof. Yeah, MD600N. Fox. I love them so much. Oh, nope. Yeah. Fell through the roof. The roof was not solid, boys. The roof was not solid. Adios, Robert. Thank you for dropping in and saying hello. Enjoy the rest of your day or whatever is left of it. Yeah, you're not a real helipad. Couldn't read the name. Wasn't fast enough. Okay, so there's a helipad here. Not exactly a nice one. But we'll come into it anyways. We'll see if our blades have an issue with it. Bit of right rotation. Good for a little MD like this with our little small rotor radius. Back to performance, I'm out of here. Look at this little lagging party. Olympic helipad, Bali copter. Let's go. Looks like the 902N also exists from MD, but I don't care for it. Twin engine, no tar, great for like medical stuff. I want to say that's one where they had like, not Shakira. They used a 902 in one of the Olympics in like the late 80s or early 90s or something, bringing somebody down into the stadium who was singing at the opening ceremony or something. which the 902s are super cool. I don't care for them that much look-wise. They're cool, don't get me wrong. I would not complain if I had one. I just kind of like the 600Ns better. I think Brim Aviation operates a couple of 902s. Okay, Bali copter, show me what you got up here, bud. I don't even know what their pad looks like, but I want to do a more aggressive approach in. Not exactly a helipad here, boys. Not exactly a helipad here. Jag helipad. Let's go see what that looks like, if it's actually a helipad. Yeah, like I said, I mean, the 902s, they're cool. They're really, really good. Not a lot of them. I don't care for the way they look. 600N fucks. 520N, I think the tail looks too big for it, but it's great for what it's used for, being a no-tail rotor thing. Doing like utility work, getting close to stuff without having to worry about a tail rotor causing any sort of issues. I just like the way the 600 looks better. 530F, 500E, like the way they look. Round nose. This model flies great. Wouldn't complain about having one, but just not my favorite. Bali Heli Tour, that's a different one. Let's hit that one real quick, and then we'll go over to Jag and Peninsula Island. Yeah, this looks like a more developed place. Is that a lazy river, or they're actually... This might actually be helipads back there. Looks like little circles with H's, doesn't it? Oh, this kind of looks like it'd be like a little river in the back with like fountains on it. So actually, I'm going to zoom in on this one. I guess those do kind of look like helipads. Weird. Let's see what. Okay, that's definitely a fucking helipad over there at Whitetex. It's just to the left and ahead. Let's go, Captain Gary. What's going on? We've done our around the world bit for today, and now we're just kind of helipad bit bopping around Bali. with the new Taugs hangar. 500C. Was not expecting that view. But yeah, welcome to the stream, Captain. Yeah, we did a short little jump. I've been coughing and getting over a cold here recently, so I don't want to strain my voice too much doing a full 4-hour stream. But I figured Bali was a good place. A lot of helipads here, new helicopter that we downloaded, so we get to play around and mess with the performance of that some and do some shenanigans stuff like right now after the actual straight and level flying of the day. And also, since you weren't here earlier, I saw in my chat I made a 97 on my written exam today for flying real helicopters. So, we are hyped about that as well. Yes, I am using VR. I am in the Meta Quest 3, which I happened to buy like 2 weeks before they announced the 3S. But Meta Quest 3, and I'm using the Apache Simulators R44 controls. So I've got cyclic and collective and pedals, and all of the such that's helicopter appropriate. But yeah, VR makes it so much better doing helicopter stuff. It's better doing airplane stuff, but most of the airplane stuff you're kind of like looking at your dash anyways. Helicopters are so dynamic the way that they move around that it just helps so much having VR, being able to look around in different areas and plan your routes and move your head and your eyes and set up on a hill, don't they? Uphill skid. Slowly lowering the collective. There we go. We're on the ground. Just grab a napkin and frothing a bit. But yeah, you haven't asked yet, but if you're curious, the computer specs, 4070 Ti Super, AMD 7800X3D. I didn't do the full send on everything because that's not what I wanted. I honestly built this setup to teach me how to hover, to save the time in real life, and I can tell you that the $4,000-ish spent on this, getting the controls, the VR, and building a computer, I was able to learn how to hover, teaching myself. And when I hopped into the real helicopter, I was able to hover immediately. So it saved me that 10 to 20 hours of real life time figuring a lot of stuff out. Even flying X-Plane with your RC controller on your son's Meta Quest 2. Oh yeah. I'm not sure how that would do with helicopter stuff. I've never messed with helicopter RC, but I can tell you having the full controls where you're sitting down and like, I'll set up another camera eventually, but you're not looking at anything but my feet and hands right now wearing socks. So it's not like you're seeing a lot of stuff, but the VR makes a huge difference. It does. And now with real life experience, the skills do translate, which was huge for me. My instructor was super impressed. I mean, day one I was orbiting a cone, keeping my skid like 6 inches from the cone the entire time I was orbiting it. Like higher level hovering stuff, just because I already had the rubbing my head and patting my stomach sort of pattern or the mental neural pathways already built. I want to do a more steep approach into this dude here. Just because approaches are more challenging than expected. GPS, thank you for being here, as always. You done 10 hours in R22, and yes, Sim helped out so much before. That's about what I'm at right now. I literally just started the real stuff not too long ago. I was kind of waiting for money and everything to be right, but I just said, screw it, let's go do a discovery flight. And I told him during the discovery flight, I was like, hey, I'd rather this be like I'd rather pay an hour for first lesson than like a 45-minute discovery flight or a 30-minute discovery flight. But, he was super impressed with at least like the stick handling skills. There's still a lot of bookwork and stuff that I had to do. But like I said, I just made a 97 on the written. But I pretty much just started a few weeks ago, and I would have more hours right now, but my instructor went on vacation. And then when he got back, there was a doctor that had basically booked him out for an entire week or something, as he was upgrading from like a whole bunch of airplane certs to get his rotorcraft. So I was basically without flying for a week, or for 2 weeks. So yeah, dude, flying the wall. Yeah, that's one thing. So hovering easy, whatever easy. Approaches were harder than I expected to nail them the way that I felt like they should be nailed. Of course, like I could come in and hit the spot, but the picking a point on the windshield for your point of view, like for steep approaches, putting them at the top of the glare shield. Our normal approach is holding them in the middle of the windshield, so you really have to like have a spot that you can like memorize on the windshield. Like it was harder for me than I expected, just because it's with an airplane, you're off power basically, you're at idle power, flying back in, and you enter your approach at your certain point, and your glide slope is kind of set up because your flaps and everything like that's how it's supposed to work. But with a helicopter, you're infinitely adjustable, which is a reason why I like helicopters. You know, I don't want to be stuck to runways and specific slopes and glides and whatever. But having that infinite adjustability of the helicopter, it took me a few attempts to really grasp what they wanted out of a helicopter approach. Like you said, fly the ball, which is basically what you have to do. You have to pick your slope and stick to it, and even though you are infinitely adjusting your collective and your cyclic and everything to get it. Where was I going? Oh, here we go, this heli transfer place. You really are just riding a glide slope. You're able to more finitely adjust how you're going to it. The first times I was doing approaches, I was still doing my adjustments to it, but I wasn't treating it as a glide slope, if that makes sense. No, it's kind of hard to explain for nobody who's or to other people. You've flown before, so you understand a bit what I'm saying. Last flight I had a real heli instructor did auto rotation and some head chopping. I think I've been too scared to ever get back one. Dude, the auto for me was honestly not that big of a deal. Here, I'm just gonna fly a normal steep approach to this pad here. This pad looks good. And part of it was because I've done a million autos here in the sim, so my brain kind of already knew what I was looking for, and I understood the concept because I was doing ground school before I even started flight school. I was doing the online stuff. But the auto, I understood the concept of how everything was happening. So as we were doing it, this like a little boat thing. What the fuck is this? That's weird. Water treatment or something. It's like I understood how the auto worked. So as he was doing it, I was kind of riding along loosely with the controls, and I was watching all the gauges and monitoring how it was all working, because like that's how my brain works, by understanding how stuff physically does, how stuff physically functions. And so I was watching the needles, and like I could feel him like, cool, we're losing a little bit of rotor RPM. Either it was pulling back on the cyclic or lowering the collective a little bit. It's like I was feeling all of that and watching it, so like I understood. We haven't really done much like hedge trimming type things. Oh, he didn't warn you? I kind of hate that. Like, especially if you're at the point where you have 10 hours in there, it's like you should be talking with whoever you're riding with and letting them know what's happening. Which I don't think I've done an auto in this thing. I've only flown this thing once, this particular helicopter here. Let's go do an auto over on the runway. Or just anywhere. Yeah, runways. 3 miles away. We'll just do it here in this field. Yeah, like, tell people you're gonna do the auto, you know? Well, he was so casual, I thought he was getting used to his heli flies without an engine and switch the engine off at it. Oh, that's a fucking dick move. It wasn't just a throttle down, it was just a full switch off, or did he like jerk the throttle down to where it killed the engine? Because they've told people to like stop snatching the throttle off, because there was a lot of instructors apparently who were throttling off and it was killing the engine because they throttled off too quickly, and it was kind of like a shock to the system. So they have you slowly throttle off now. But let's see how this thing autos. We're doing about 60 knots. Throttling down. Or I want to lose more speed. Watch my needles there. Don't want to lose any more forward airspeed. Easy peasy. All the alarms. That's kind of shit that he did it like that. Like, the instructors I've been in, like, during my first Discovery flight, he's like, you want me to show you an auto? And, I was like, yeah, let's go and do one, just so I could see it and feel what it was. And I was watching him and keeping up with his movements and everything. And after he's like, let me show you a 180. I was like, I mean, I'm going to see 180s eventually anyways, but it's like, right now during my Discovery flight, our first lesson, whatever, like, I want to run another pattern and just do a normal approach, just that way I can get more stick time on it, doing something, you know? Ooh, there's an actual pad over here. We're going to do a straight to it approach. Now that I know I don't have any obstructions nearby. Actually, I want to see where the H is, because I want to see if I can smack it right on the H. High recon. It's like a low recon, really. No, we'll do it approaching over the trees there. I want to go direct to it. I'm going to treat it like it's a dusty, dirty place, to where I want to touch down and not hover over it for a few seconds and then put down. I want to go straight from approach to hitting down and collective down, because that would be something that you would do to reduce the amount of dust, where you would do a bit more of a steeper approach and then terminate the approach on the pad itself instead of at a hover. So slightly fast, want to slow that down a wee bit. Start arresting our descent. More power, more power. Boop. Not too bad. Little crooked on the bounce, but I'm happy with that. For going straight in and dedicating myself to it, of course, I could have hovered and set it up a little bit more. Plastic bags. A full kit and caboodle. But yeah, so approaches are something I'm getting more. I don't say more practice with, but it's something I have more appreciation for now. So we've been over there. Let's go check out WRS Simiyak helipad. Yeah, I was happy with that one. That wasn't that bad. Like I said, I could have straightened up some, but I wanted to do the straight down, commit to the pad sort of approach. Because typically you would hover and put yourself exactly where you want it. But if you're landing in a super, super dusty, dirty situation, you want to get down and get your collective as down as it can be as quick as possible to prevent any like real dusting out. Least amount of downwash as possible when you're at the ground somewhere where it's going to mess with you. Like there's a guy on YouTube, Matt from 103, or Matt from 103. He's a heli pilot up in Canada. Do a lot of like search and rescue, like the big AW-149 Kamarats, something. Big Augusta Westland helicopter, huge. Like Sikorsky S-53 type size. Maybe not that big, maybe like an S-92 size. Anyways, they were landing to get fuel at this one airport, which happened to be a dirt runway. And they did a run-on landing in the helicopter. It's got wheels, so they can roll and steer around. But they did that, so that way they didn't have to dust out when landing. So doing run-ons and being able to collect it down because you're really, really planting your descents, those are good skills to have. This looks like another pad up here. We can try a steeper approach into planting it. We'll see. Yeah. Let's see what direction the H is in. Which you might be able to see it, but my MetaQuest is still blurry for me down there. Oh, it's an X, so that's a hospital pad. With an H at an angle following in the lines, of course. So we'll angle this one. And since it's a hospital pad, we'll do the hospital approach, like I said, doing it more of a steep type approach. Most hospitals don't want you doing shallow approaches in, or most medical helicopters don't want you doing shallow approaches. They want you to steep in because you're more clear of obstacles that way. Steep and slow, which we're even descending really fast there. So I'm going to set this up almost directly in between my pedals here. That's how we're going to treat this one. Came in a little high on that one. I'm getting a bit of wind from the back left as well, because I can feel myself fighting to come back this way. Smart man would have approached from the other direction or figured out where wind was coming from. That may not be me. Here we're gonna... Actually, since we have wind the other way, let's just see what it feels like. Oh yeah, that turned me around quick. That feels significantly more stable right here. A lot less work I'm doing. Yeah, that was a bad wind calling me. Yeah, I'm gonna go sit back down at the main airport now, though. It's after midnight for me, and I got flight lessons tomorrow, so I can't be spending too much time doing this tonight. But we'll head back to the International and properly park. Do a full shutdown. Up the coast a little bit there, weren't we? Turn off all this mess there. I mean, I don't want to keep myself up too late. This little helicopter's fun to fly, though. Good handling. Good sounds too, so good job, Taux Hanger. Looking forward to the S76 from Cowan Sim coming out this week in sometime or early next week, as soon as it clears. And then also there's a Blackhawk coming to town soon as well, through Miltech, I believe. So there goes $100 of me buying this, that, and that. Bali Airport, helicopter 420 Foxtrot Whiskey. We are crossing midfield again, basically at ground level to come over next to the parking at the FBO. Sideways with these lines in the ground. Cool, happy with that. Let's see, governor off, I can roll the throttle down. Yes, I'm aware. Ah, what are you? No idea. You're something. I don't know. This thing has a rotor brake in it. Not a clue. That's all good. That's all good. We can get rid of that. Gonna shut the battery off. Don't need that anymore. Oh, there is a rotor brake. Good modeling of the rotor head up there. Look at that. Looks good. Okay, thanks for everybody who came in. Georgia Plane Spotting as always. Captain Gary, thanks for dropping in and discovering the stream. Robert Harrison as always. MSM Edits. Anybody who was here, much appreciated. Next time we'll be getting further up this island chain back into Southeast Asia and going more around the world. But for now, we're going to call that good.